Hey, welcome back, guys. So today on this video, we're talking about PropStream, and more specifically, I'm going to quickly answer a question I keep getting a lot on my other video, and that is, how do you find high equity lists in PropStream? So let's go ahead and talk about this. First off, guys, real quick video, not too many steps involved, so be sure to stick around to the end of the video. But why would you want to find a high equity list on PropStream anyways? Well, that's pretty easy. Maybe you're doing wholesaling and you're looking for high equity lists because you know that there's more opportunity to get a good deal. Whatever the case is, it's a pretty easy process. It's actually handled here in your PropStream account. Check my video description. I'll try to leave all the written instructions there as well. But I've already opened up my PropStream, and one thing I want to let you know is that there's a lot of different methods in order to find high equity lists in PropStream. So today I'm going to go over what I look for when I'm looking for a high equity list to market to with text messages, phone calls, and mailers. So first thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and choose the area that you're working in. So sometimes that's going to be a county, sometimes it's going to be a city, a zip code. Only you know your market. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to go ahead and choose a city. Okay, I went ahead and chose Long Beach, California. And the nice thing about PropStream is they do have a quick filter. So you click right here on this blue button. And then here in this section, they have a quick list choice. And if you click in there, you can go ahead and choose high equity. Okay, it's going to go ahead and process now. Okay, so now it's finished up. So what we're going to do is close this out. And PropStream has identified, looks like almost 80,000, well, 79,000 of what they consider high equity in Long Beach, California. So the thing is with high equity, it's going to be your definition. So with PropStream, I think it's 50% equity or $100,000 or more worth of equity. So this is a huge list. If you're going to be marketing to a list of this size, maybe you're a big company, I'm not sure, but if you're an individual investor or maybe a small team, that might be too many people. So what I'll do is I'll usually narrow it down a little bit more. So here's what I'll do. I'll open up filter right here. Let me go ahead and close out high equity. Okay. And then usually what I'll do is I'll click on valuation and equity right here on the bottom left. And then here is a section called estimated equity. So if I'm looking for property in California, the properties are worth a lot more. So you can use a percentage. So maybe I'll go ahead and put a minimum of 30% equity. But if you're working in, let's say, Jacksonville, Mississippi, where the property prices are maybe $45,000, maybe that's not enough equity for you, even if it's at 30%. So you can actually just choose a dollar amount. So maybe you don't want to target any property that doesn't have an estimated equity of, let's say, $50,000 minimum. You can go ahead and put that here. And that really depends on your particular market. So let me close this out. So we got 30% equity in Long Beach, California. You can see there's 93,000 properties that fit that. So I'll definitely try to narrow this down a little bit more when I'm looking for a high equity list on PropStream. The first thing I always do is I click right here on MLS status, and then I'm always looking for off market deals. So I will always click this one right here, no, for MLS on market. Also, another thing I will choose is property characteristics. So for me personally, I like to work with single family or condos. I don't really like to work with commercial properties. So I'll usually check that. Sometimes I'll check this one right here, multifamily 2 to 4. And you can see that dropped it down to 80,000. So it cut 10,000 properties out. And then we'll click on filter once again. Another thing I'll do is click on ownership info, and I'll put maximum 30 years, just because it seems like if the family has owned the property for, 50, 60 years, it's not really likely that they're going to sell. So I'll put maximum at 30, and you can see that cut out another 23,000 properties. And then if I need to keep scaling it down even more, I will usually go here to ownership info, and then I'll click on here, number of properties owned. If they own a lot of different properties, maybe they're going to be a more seasoned investor. So for me, it's just a lot of back and forth. It's less likely I get a good deal. So usually I'll put this at 3 properties maximum, and you can see that dropped it down to 50,000. So we're slowly narrowing down our high equity list. And then here on filter, once again, I'm going to go back here to ownership info and years of ownership. So if average ownership, let's say, is 5 years, anything less than that, it's not really likely they're going to sell. So maybe I'll put 5 to 30 years, and you can see the total list has now dropped to 39,000. And we can still keep narrowing this down a little bit more. Once again, I'll go back here to ownership info, and then I'll go here to owner type. So all of my best deals have come from individual owners, not from like an LLC or some sort of corporation. So here on owner type, I'll usually put individual, and let's see here. So yeah, we're down to 27,000. So we've really trimmed down this list quite a bit, but still, this is really a large list. So if we want to go ahead and narrow it down a little bit more, you can choose one of these right here, owner occupied or occupancy status. So if it's a vacant property, that means that it's probably not generating revenue. revenue for the owners. So that could increase the percentage of them wanting to sell. So if we click on vacant and we dropped it down to 66 properties. So that's really depends on your county. I usually don't check that just because it narrows it down so much, but you can also do owner occupied. So we'll do no. And these are folks that own the property, but they don't live there. So that dropped it down to 2,900. So that's a pretty good size list right there for a small team or for an individual investor. Let me show you the filters exactly. If you want to go ahead and maybe screenshot this, these are the filters I use. I usually don't use this owner occupied right here. Also, I chose a city that's pretty large. Normally, if I'm going to be going after a high equity list, I'll drill it down to maybe a zip code or maybe a few zip codes or maybe a neighborhood. For example, instead of Long Beach, let me go ahead and put any, and let me go ahead and just list off a zip code. Okay, I chose one zip code in that city. Okay, there we go. So we have a list right here of 3,000 for high equity lists. And that's a reasonable list if you're going to be sending out mailers or making phone calls. So there you have it, guys. You can actually have two different options. Like I said, you can use the quick list choice, or you can do what I do and then put this into your search and filter out all the different properties in your particular area. So there you have it, guys. That's how I look for high equity lists on PropStream. If you know an easier way, be sure to leave a comment below. Let the rest of us know how you did it. Hopefully you found that video useful. If so, click thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel, and I hope to see you on the next video. Thanks again for watching.